Hello hobby hunters, Neolus here with another unboxing, and today we are doing the Monster Hunter Stories Ride on Ratha Funko Pop vinyl figure. Now I'm not really a Funko Pop collector, I don't really see the appeal to them. However, once in a blue moon we got something that I do like, which is Monster Hunter. This Ratha is a Rathalos that appears in the Monster Hunter Stories Ride On anime series, which also had a tie-in video game on the 3DS. Furthermore, he was hatched from an egg by the main character Lute. Early on in the story, they get attacked somehow, and Ratha gets lost, loses an eye, and eventually he joins the main character again and becomes one of the most prominent monsters in the series and in the game. One could also argue that Rathalos is Monster Hunter's mascot, as he has been in every subsequent game since the very first one, on which he was also the poster monster. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the unboxing of this figure. Let's go. Alright, here we are at our unboxing table, and here is our Ratha Pop vinyl figure. As you can see at the front of the box here, he is number 798 of the Pop animation series. All the Pops have a sub-series, animations, movies, games, etc, etc. At first I thought it would be games because I knew Monster Hunter Stories first as a game, but this is the Ride On version, and the anime is called Monster Hunter Stories Ride On, not Monster Hunter Stories. Elaborate explanation, I know. It's a beautiful render of Ratha here on the front. We have a few choking hazard warnings here as well. Small parts, not suitable for children under 36 months. Let's have a look at the right side of the box. Here we can see the full render of the Ratha, very beautiful. Here we see the left side of the box. We see the Funko partly here. The name is right there, and we have the clear plastic right there as well to see the inside of the box. And here is the back, where we see the rest of the collection of the Monster Hunter Stories Pop figures. We have Lute and Navarru. Lute is the main character, Navarru is his companion. Ratha is the first monster he hatched. Then we have Avinia and her first monster, Frostfang, which is his name, not the type of monster. He's a Barioth. We have text here, collect them all, French, whatever language that is. Funimation, Funko Pop is a trademark of Funko LLC. And then all rights reserved text right here. Fuji TV, Capcom, FFC Funimation Productions LLC. Then we have the top of the box, which also only shows like the top half. I think they usually do this and then you see the head of the character, but because Rathalos is below most of the Funko Pop's neck level, they only show the wings here. And then we have the bottom of the box, which displays where it was distributed. Here it says where it was made, Vietnam. We have some recycling information. It's not for kids under the age of 3. And of course the warning in several languages right there. Alright, let's take him out of his box. Alright, so some collectors might be pissed off at me for unboxing this thing. I'm not a collector of Funko Pops, I am a collector of figurines, so I do like to unbox them and display them, not keep them in a box for the rest of their life. So let's take a closer look at our Rathalos here. As you can see right here, he has a scar on his eye. That's because he was damaged early on in his life and lost one of his eyes. And he has blue eyes. That is interesting. I never really noticed that. Then on his back here, that's not a weird growth you see here. That is actually the saddle they use in the game and in the anime to ride the monsters. Alright, so let's take a close-up look at his head. We see all the tiny little scales there. Then his little teeth. Chin. I also like that Rathalos actually has visible ears and not just tiny little holes in his head, like most lizards do. And we get at the wings here, and still, the further you go, you can still see all the scales on his body. The wings aren't malleable, they're just, it's really hard plastic actually, and it's pretty hefty for something so small. Not a lot of details on the wings here, but then again, Rathalos does have a lot of detail on his wings, but I think in the anime he does not, or in the games. You can see on the box here, he does have patterns on his wings, but they are not visible on this figure here. And a lot of the scales on his wings are also not visible on this figure. Anyway, let's move on. We do have a lot of scales on the top part of his legs here, but not on the bottom. We do have some color differentiation here. And then I love how tiny his tail is. It's like, especially this part. Rathalos actually has a very long tail, and this thing is like twice or 3 times as wide as his tail. This is also the part that you cut off in the regular Monster Hunter games. I don't think you can do that in Monster Hunter Stories. It's been a long time since I've played it. But yeah, I love how tiny this is, and how a little bit less detail just can make it cute. Anyway, and then we have his feet and some detail, a little bit of detail on the bottom here, not much. You can see his chest here and some lines on the chin. So yeah, it looks pretty good. There's a few paint mishaps all around. So on the wing here we have a little bit of a blue mark under the red here as well. You can see a little bit of mispainting on the nail here, right there, and here as well. The paint job on his horns here doesn't really match up. It doesn't on this side as well. But that's really when you look at it from very, very close. From a distance, you don't really notice these tiny little mishaps. It actually looks really well and pretty accurate to the character in the games, in the anime. I love it. So yeah, this thing is adorable, looks really well. If you don't look at it from really close, which I usually don't with my figures, it's really well done. It's worth the price. It was only 12 euros, 12.99 I think, which is standard price for Funkos in the shop where I buy my figures. And it was about time I had another Monster Hunter figure. I still have 2 more Monster Hunter figurines to unbox. I have a T-Rex and a Rathalos posable figure, which is like 30 centimeters. It's like that size. Yeah, that's big. Not much to compare to. I haven't unboxed any Funkos before this. I do have these 2 Monster Hunter figures right here. T-Rex and Lagia Cruz respectively. Now you can see how detailed small figures can get. Alright, he is bigger than these both, but look at the detail on these tiny little figures. To the teeth, all the scales are in there, even on the bottom, and the places you don't really see. Look at the details inside of the wings as well. Unlike this pop here, we also have Lagia Cruz here. Look at all the details on that thing. For something this tiny, look at all the scales, the coloration on all the body parts. That looks absolutely amazing. The crystal sticking out of his back here. These light up when he's fueled with electricity. Not this one, of course. And then the tail here. Look at all these tiny little scales. The difference between these, of course, is price. This is a simplified character based on an anime video game that isn't very detailed. It's very simplified, so I can excuse the little detail on it. These two are based on the actual games, the actual monsters in the games, and they are at least 3 times as expensive as this one was. So I can excuse the minimal detail. It really looks really good as well. So goes to show that even with the minimal amount of details, you can make something very beautiful like this. I can safely say that I'm not disappointed for buying a Funko Pop, which I was very vocal about not being interested in the past. Anyway, that's it for the Rathalos. I'm gonna put him on the side for a little bit so we can bring in our spaceship and decide the video for next time. So we got him right here. Let's shake him up. All right. Shaken. And let's take out a piece of paper for the next video. Alright, got one. Put it somewhere in frame so you can see I'm not cheating. There we go. While we put that away. And let's have a look. Gogeta Super Saiyan 4. I did not write a subtext on it. Because it's Super Saiyan 4, I think it's the build kit, because I don't have figures. Let me go check real quick. Alright, so I was right, I don't have any figures of Gogeta Super Saiyan 4. I do have this Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta build kit. So that will be the video for next week. So that concludes this week's video. Let me know in the comments below, are you gonna pick up Monster Hunter Stories 2 on the Switch? I certainly am. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye.